Picture this. You're in the middle of a conversation with her. Everything seems fine at first. You're laughing, connecting, and it feels like you're on the same wavelength. But then, in a split second, it all shifts. Her energy changes. She goes cold, distant. Suddenly, everything you say feels wrong. The tension in the room thickens and you're left questioning yourself, wondering what you did wrong. You didn't do anything wrong, but now you're wondering if you should have said something differently. Why is she acting like this? What happened to the connection you had? Now here's the truth, and it's one that most men don't even realize. It's not about you. It's not even about her being upset. It's about something far deeper, something you can't control. Her ability to control your emotions. And here's the thing, she's not even consciously doing it. This is a natural biological tactic that women have been using for centuries. Women are hardwired to control emotions. They have learned to use emotional triggers to influence men in ways that we don't even understand. Now, I know this may sound shocking, but this is the hidden truth behind the dynamics between men and women. And it's not your fault. It's biology at work. Over the course of human history, women have had to develop a certain emotional power to survive, to ensure their own survival and the survival of their children. They learned how to manipulate emotions, not with malice, but because it was essential for their existence. Think about it. In the early stages of human evolution, women were the ones who relied on men for protection and resources. They needed men to stick around, to be emotionally invested in them. So how did they get that commitment? Through emotional connection, through emotional manipulation. And this wasn't just about making a man feel loved. This was about survival. When a woman is emotionally invested in a man, he is more likely to stay, more likely to protect, and more likely to invest in her and her offspring. But here's the kicker. This is all built into our biology. It's programmed into us from an evolutionary standpoint. It's not something women have to think about, it's instinctual. Women know deep down that if they can trigger emotional responses in men, they can keep that emotional investment. And this isn't just about affection or love, it can be about control. They know exactly when to praise you, when to withhold affection, when to pull away, and when to make you feel like you're on the edge of losing her. This is where most men fall into the trap. Men are biologically driven to seek validation. We are wired to find approval, to feel needed, to feel wanted. Women, whether they realize it or not, know how to use this against us. They know what makes us tick. They know how to make us chase them. This isn't about being manipulative in the traditional sense. This is a deeply embedded survival mechanism that plays out in modern relationships. Neurologically, your brain reacts to these emotional triggers. The moment you feel her withdrawal, the moment she goes cold, your brain starts to crave that dopamine hit. When she gives you affection, when she validates you, your brain rewards you with dopamine and you feel good. So when she pulls back, when she goes silent, your brain panics. It wants that validation. It wants that emotional hit. And so you chase it. You start to play her game without even realizing it. This is why the emotional highs and lows in relationships can feel like a roller coaster. One moment she's all over you, the next she's pulling away, leaving you wondering what you did wrong. And the truth is, it's not about you at all. This is how she's hardwired to operate. This is her biological blueprint for keeping you engaged, keeping you emotionally tied. But here's the deeper, darker truth. It's not just the biology at play. We live in a world that constantly feeds into this dynamic. Society has shaped the way we view relationships and emotional dependence. The media portrays women as the emotionally dominant ones, while men are expected to be stoic, detached, and unbothered. This cultural conditioning has made it difficult for men to recognize when they're being emotionally manipulated. We've been taught that women are the emotional ones and men are supposed to be the ones who don't care. But this is a lie. It's a system built to keep men weak. We've been conditioned to think that we should just figure it out when it comes to relationships, that we shouldn't express our emotional needs. And it's not just a cultural issue, it's a psychological one. Men are often taught to suppress their emotions, to internalize their pain, and to avoid showing vulnerability. And because of that, we don't recognize the emotional manipulation happening right in front of us. Now let's talk about the emotional collapse. What happens when a man stays in this cycle for too long, when he continuously seeks validation and approval from a woman who holds all the emotional power? Eventually, he starts to lose himself. He becomes emotionally dependent. He begins to question his worth because he's always waiting for someone else to tell him he's good enough. This constant emotional push and pull leads to confusion, frustration, and a feeling of being emotionally bankrupt. The truth is harsh, my friend. You're giving away your power. You're trading your self-worth for her approval. You're living to meet her emotional needs while neglecting your own. And that, my brother, is where the destruction begins. You start losing your sense of self. You start questioning your value. You begin to doubt your worth outside of her validation. And before you know it, you're trapped in a cycle of emotional dependence that keeps you stuck in a toxic loop. But here's the solution. You can break free from this cycle. The first step is realizing that your emotional power is your own. You don't need her validation to feel like you matter. You don't need her approval to know that you're worthy. The solution is to step into emotional independence, to stop chasing approval and start being in control of your emotions. It's about recognizing when she's pulling those emotional strings and deciding that you won't play that game anymore. The true power lies in emotional mastery. When you master your emotions, when you no longer seek external validation, you become the man who leads, not just in the relationship, but in life. You become the one who sets the tone, who defines your own worth. And when you do that, the dynamics shift. You're no longer a slave to her moods or emotional triggers. You're free. And that, my friend, is where the real power lies. When you let go of the need for validation, when you stop playing her emotional game, you step into the full power of your masculine energy. You take control of your emotions, and you take control of your life. And from there, everything changes. You were never meant to be a slave to emotional manipulation. You were meant to be free. And when you step into that power, you'll see your relationships, your life, and your sense of self in a whole new light.